Hello and happy SBDC Day. I'm Greg Tucker, and I've had the honor of serving the Missouri Small Business Development Centers for the past 21 and a half years, and I've been the state director for the past 6 years. Today is the 6th annual SBDC Day and our 2nd annual State of the Missouri SBDC address. We'd like to thank you for your time today and for being a part of our celebration. This SBDC Day, SBDCs and our ambassadors around the country are celebrating the important work we do and the impact we have on our local communities where we live. With nearly 1,000 locations across the country, SBDCs are in every community, providing local businesses and entrepreneurs with the resources needed to succeed. America's SBDCs provide measurable economic results according to our clients. In 2021, our clients say we helped them generate 71,399 jobs, $7.6 billion in sales growth, $6 billion in capitalization, and we helped start 18,691 new businesses across the country, proving once again that SBDCs are leaders in job creation and economic growth. And before we get started into the presentation, I'd like to ask Maureen Brinkley, the SBA District Director and Acting SBA Regional Administrator, to say a few words, and I think Maureen has a quick introduction. Apologies, I don't think Maureen has joined us yet, so we'll bring Maureen in a little bit later. So for our opening remarks today, I'd like to remind everyone, 2 years ago this week, we went home to flatten the curve. We all began our virtual work and worked diligently to learn about the ins and outs of this novel tool called Zoom. Shortly thereafter, Zoom became a part of our everyday lives, and we all became familiar with the phrase Zoom bomb. During this 2 years, the Missouri SBDC has worked diligently to stay ahead of that curve as we work with changing business models, changing consumer and customer behavior, and an ever-changing workforce. Although many businesses closed as a result of the disruptions caused by the pandemic, we also saw a record number of new businesses start across the U.S. as entrepreneurs work to solve the new problems the pandemic created for consumers. Smartphones and tablets have been involved into vital business and communications tools and have enabled our workforce to evolve as well. Our businesses can better accommodate these changing behaviors using this technology. We've met a new generation of workforce that doesn't necessarily fit into our old hiring and employment models. And rather than criticize them, we need to find a way to embrace them and learn to leverage their unique and ever-evolving talents. So next, I'd like to turn this over to our Associate State SBDC Director and our Marketing Communications Director, Sherry Noller.
Thank you very much, Greg. And again, welcome everyone. We are excited that you have joined us today for our State of the Missouri SBDC. I wanted to share just a quick look at the overview of what our presentation will include today. During the presentation, you are welcome to put any questions in the chat that will be going to the host and the co-hosts today. And if time permits, we will try to answer those questions at the conclusion of the presentation. However, if time does not allow for that, we will be gathering all of those questions, and in the follow-up email that you will receive this afternoon, that will have a link to the recording as well as the slide deck. We will do our best to provide what answers we can to any of those questions if we are unable to get to them. So again, I want to thank you for joining us, and I'm excited to get us started on this presentation. So first is just one of those helpful refreshers, because I know we do have some folks that were not in attendance last year for the State of the SBDC. We wanted to just remind everyone what we do. Missouri SBDC is the technical assistance provider, providing education and training to our business owners and our aspiring entrepreneurs throughout the state. We serve through education to help our business owners not only get helpful information, but also help teach them information that they may not have known and things that can help them in their business to make confident decisions. We are a statewide program that does cover the entire state of Missouri, including the city of St. Louis. We are funded in part by the U.S. Small Business Administration, and we do receive additional funding from our center sponsors and our program host, which is the University of Missouri Extension, as well as other universities, colleges, and economic development organizations. That's a little bit about who we are. And what we do. Many of you know, you see us working with clients or have heard of the work that we've done through our various client stories or relationships that you have built with our centers across the state or with us at the lead center. But just as a reminder, we are seeing our clients face to face, virtually, adapting to the needs that they have in order to best serve our clients all across the state. Our counseling is confidential. We have wonderful training opportunities that, again, have adapted to serve our clients, whether that be in person trainings or those that are offered via Zoom or on demand. We offer business coaching and also work very hard to build partnerships with community organizations, again, as many of you know, and build awareness for the SBDC across the state. Something that we entered into at the end of last year was updating our mission, vision, and values. We took the lessons that we learned through the pandemic and what has gone on over the last 2 years to ensure that what we are doing continues to align with those needs of the clients. This is something that we do every few years so that we can remain adaptive to those changes. And so through our services, we offer, it is our mission to educate entrepreneurs, business owners, and the workforce to realize success. And it is our vision to be the preferred partner for entrepreneurship and business solutions in Missouri. And as you can see here on the slide, we embrace the core values of people, being people first, innovation, empowerment, collaboration, confidentiality, and integrity to be able to serve the clients that we serve. A real quick introduction for those that may not be aware. We do have our centers located across the state, as I mentioned. And so here is a quick center map. You will see our primary centers as the squares, our satellite centers as those circles, and those centers with the green marks indicate our tech centers, which you will hear a little bit more about here in just a few moments. And with a more closer look at those that help us to get our services across the state, we did want to take a moment to recognize our center sponsors. So where our business owners locate their businesses really means a lot. And that's ultimately the place that's going to shape how that business grows and provide that business with the resources and the employees that they're looking for. And that's also the community that will benefit from that business's success. And so we have succeeded in serving all across the state due to the valuable partnerships that we have developed across our communities over the years. So the universities, economic development, and community organizations that you see here on the screen all financially invest in the Missouri SBDC program to host either a primary or a satellite office and staff in order to serve our neighbors. So now we do want to take a moment to introduce you to our specialized services and our specialized services directors to speak more about the work that they are doing in specific expertise areas. And these specialized services were identified to further serve our businesses across the state and to provide deeper knowledge and expertise to clients. So now we're going to hear from 3 of our directors of these services, and they will be sharing their accomplishments in 2021 and projects or initiatives that are coming up in 2022. So first, I would like to introduce Leslie Fisher, our Director of International Trade.
Awesome. Thank you, Sherry, and thank you to our distinguished guests for your time and interest today. Engaging in international trade can be an invaluable strategy in growing the success of Missouri small businesses, and I'm thrilled to be in the position to support the program at the SBDC and for business owners across the state. In 2021, our program was really focused on positioning the SBDC in the broader export ecosystem as the go-to resource for clients new to export who do not yet have the expertise in international export to utilize programs in place at the state and federal level to facilitate trade opportunities. Given the SBDC's existing cadre of business education and support, it makes natural sense for the SBDC to provide this export education. As part of our effort to grow export support, one of our first orders of business was to ensure we had internal expertise to advise clients on international trade. So we hosted a 14-week-long course on all facets of export support, covering topics on export basics, the harmonized and automated export system, international documentation, intellectual property protection, freight forwarding, financing, and our partnerships with state and federal export promotion agencies, among other international trade-related concerns. We had counselors across the state attend the course and become certified in export advising by passing the intermediate export support exam offered by the SBA. We also launched an export readiness assessment, which is an online questionnaire that asks companies various questions related to their internal expertise necessary to take their business to the international marketplace. This assessment also serves as a tool for the SBDC to develop a tailored strategy and roadmap forward for companies interested in export to ensure they are prepared to cross all of their T's and dot all of their I's along the way. Going back to the map of the SBDC locations across the state, I'm happy to report we have been co-counseling companies on export-related material in nearly every region of the state and have the support in place to help any business wherever they are with export support. We were also able to launch an international trade-related newsletter, which provides clients a timely overview of the support, tools, resources, and export-related events happening across the state and nation available for companies to engage with. Finally, one of the key barometers of export readiness is having an export plan in place illustrating how a company plans to engage in international trade. So building off of the International Trade Administration's sample export plan, the SBDC partnered with Palo Alto Software, the makers of Live Plan, which is a cloud-based business planning tool, to develop a new tool that was not on the market to deliver tailored export business planning support. The tool walks companies through each element of the export business planning process and has tutorials and resources embedded within it for further export education along the way. The development of this tool was led by the Missouri SBDC with input provided from state and federal partners and other SBDCs around the nation and was selected for presentation at the National America Small Business Development Center Conference. Coming up in 2022, the SBDC is excited to announce formal appointment to the Missouri District Export Council, where we work with the top export support related entities and seasoned exporters around the state to bring additional export education and expertise to Missouri companies. We are also working with the World Trade Center St. Louis to develop an immersive export training and expertise program called Export Tech, which will be available to companies looking to gain export education through group learning sessions and export planning review. As our state and federal partners begin to re-engage in physical trade activities that had been stalled because of travel limitations in place due to COVID, the SBDC is also here to help ready companies looking to leverage those opportunities. And finally, as a way to provide another avenue to reach companies where they are in their export journey and in a format that is quick and easy to understand, we're focused on creating one-pagers on export-related material on different export topics. And with that, I will be happy to answer any export-related questions at the end of our presentation, and we'll turn it back over to you, Sherry.
Thank you very much, Leslie. We appreciate that overview. Your work within the state to help make international trade and exporting more accessible to our clients has been greatly appreciated. Next, we have Traven Shelton, our Director of Business Growth Services.
Awesome. Thank you, Sherry. So hello all, pleasure to be here today. Of course, my name is Traven Shelton, as Sherry noted there, and I'm the Director of Growth Services for the Missouri SBDC. And you might be wondering, growth, don't all businesses want to grow? Well, of course, some do, but we are targeting the companies that have the appetite and the aptitude for scaling their growth and their business to outside regions, bringing outside dollars into the state of Missouri. So most of these businesses are often classified as stage 2 or traded sector businesses, usually 10 to 99 employee companies with about 750,000 to 50 million in annual revenue. A real quick example, if you were to run a 100-meter dash, if you had 10 companies or 10 individuals, and we don't have a Usain Bolt out there, we don't have somebody that is probably going to win. If you have 10 random companies sitting there about to run a 100-meter dash, it's probably going to be pretty hard to pick those winners, those people that have a product market fit, they have customers in the beginning. But after they've run about 70 meters of that race, more than likely you can pick those winners. And that's really what we're doing with these stage 2 companies, these traded sector companies. We've seen that they have a product market fit. We've seen that they have customers, actual people or businesses willing to pay them money. And so what we've done is really create programming to help and assist those stage 2 entrepreneurs. One example of that, as noted in the presentation here, is the Elevate program, which is an accelerated growth program where we took 12 companies throughout the whole state of Missouri, covered 6 of the 8 legislative districts, and we hooked them up with specialized consultants that in a partnership with the Edward Lowe Foundation to really focus on pain points or opportunities that they had for growth. Now, this could be a marketing problem or a sales problem. And of course, in business, we know that those are different. It can be a people problem or a process problem. Do you have the right knowledge, skills, and abilities in your supply chain manager to scale your company? Or is it an actual process problem? And so the team there at the Elevate program, basically, they help you find that root problem and then give you expertise, research, and information to, of course, bridge those gaps and to grow your company, scale your company effectively. The impact from that program, so we started it as a pilot program in 2021. We saw 4.4 million in increased sales with those 12 companies. So as a whole, from year 2020 to 2021, we saw 2.9 million of capital infusion into their companies. They were actively trying to grow. And we saw 43 net new jobs created from that program in its first year. So really great impact, which parlayed into our second cohort, which we have upcoming this year. 10 companies are participating. We hit 7 of the 8 legislative districts in the state of Missouri. These companies make up about 40 million in total annual sales, and we hope to help them grow that with employees and, of course, sales throughout this year in 2022. One other comment about a program that we have within our growth program is LinkedIn Sales Navigator. And basically what I do with LinkedIn Sales Navigator is help people identify their customer personas, whether they be B2B or B2C, and really identify those key decision makers and look at that market for volatility. Do they have a change in leadership? Are there mergers and acquisition? Is there consolidation? And really use online tools to help find a customer that has the ability to buy now. They have motivation to buy now. So kind of tease out the cold calling and really use online tools to identify strong clients to be and use that LinkedIn Sales Navigator to help do that. And I've facilitated that with multiple companies this past year, and the results have been great. They've made additional sales and they've grown and scaled their company effectively. One big item that we want to make sure we key in on for this year in 2022 is really aligning with everybody in the state of Missouri that's driving economic success and growth. That's MEDC, which is Missouri Economic Development. That's DED, Department of Economic Development. We want to make sure that we're partnering with them and we're coming to this as a team and trying to drive sustainable economic growth in the state of Missouri. So that's one of my charges for this year is to make sure that we are aligned with those institutions and those key people in those organizations, and we're helping drive sustainable growth here in the state of Missouri. That's it for me. Of course, happy to answer any questions at the end, as Leslie noted too. Other than that, thank you for your time and being here, and back to you, Sherry.
Thank you very much, Traven. We appreciate that overview. The work that you're doing with the Elevate program and the additional items with the growth program and the opportunities that you are identifying to help our growth companies move outside of their current sales region is really exceptional and having a great impact on strengthening our communities. So thank you for that. Next, I would like to introduce Jill Meyer, our Director of Technology and Innovation.
Thank you, Sherry. So technology development has always been a core part of the Missouri SBDC. And so we have had the pleasure of working deep in the tech field for several years now. And one of the main things that we always look and judge is, are we serving the entire state? We've been able to have 5 tech centers, as Sherry noted on the map earlier, around the state, each staffed with an expert in technology development and commercialization, who then co-counsels and works with the rest of our centers and our resource partners around the state to really help drive innovation and technology commercialization. From that, we, as you see, had over 200 tech new clients that come through our doors each year to have us help them look at their business model, how to raise fund, access to capital, and particular focus on SBIR, STTRs. So for those of you not familiar, I'm going to use the acronym SBIR a lot, and that stands for Small Business Innovative Research Grants. This is federal funding dollars for our technology entrepreneurs to truly look at their tech that they have, research it in a way that's going to help them drive toward commercialization. It is undiluted funds because it's a grant, so it's one of the best ways for our early stage entrepreneurs to get to market quicker than they otherwise would with the help of these large federal grants. So with that in mind, you see that this past year we were very excited to have won the Missouri FAST grant in partnership with BioSTL and BioGenerator. We went into the grant RFP process as partners, won the grant that started in October of 2021, and it is a 3-year grant with an option to renew each year. So we are very pleased about that. And one of the great things about the FAST grant is helping us to drive this SBIR training that I'm going to talk about for a quick second, because you'll see that we did a lot of it last year, and it's a big part of what we're doing this year in 2022 as well. So the SBDC tech team does a lot of different trainings that focus from the 1 day or half a day type of sessions on got R&D or winning federal grants, how to pitch to investors, to trainings that are 3 weeks on business model canvas or 9 weeks on technology venture, developing your business, and then very specialized trainings in SBIR. We have partnered with BioGenerator to offer these boot camps, and with the SBDC, between the two, we have 5 2-day interactive hands-on workshop boot camps to help our tech entrepreneurs around the state really dig in, work on their submission, and actually have more SBIR submissions for the state of Missouri this year. One of the things that's going to help with that the most is if you see under coming up in 2022, another big aspect of our FAST grant win is the phase 0 grants. These are grants up to $2,500 to go to our technology entrepreneurs for grant writing assistance to help get those SBIR solicitations and submissions in, again, increasing Missouri's opportunities to have more SBIR funding dollars coming to the state. So the combination of all the different trainings, the co-counseling, and the big push of our phase 0 grants is really a goal of ours for 2022 to make sure that we are driving forth as much SBIR as we can. Other things that you'll see is we provide a lot of these tech trainings that I mentioned, but a lot of that is in partnership with other technology resource partners around the state. Because the SBDC has been a strong leader in technology entrepreneurship for many years, we have wonderful partnerships with the I-Corps program out of Missouri S&T, to the partnerships in St. Louis with BioGenerator, I-10, and others, across the whiteboard to boardroom, the e-factory, and all sorts of other partnerships throughout the state that are really helping us as a state make sure that we are identifying and getting these technology founders to the right types of trainings, support, and eventually to impact collection. And finally, I'll just quickly talk about the Techno program. One of our goals last year in 2021 was to say, how are we going to reach entrepreneurs, founders with technologies that are not in the tech center areas, that are not familiar with the entrepreneurial ecosystem. And we launched a program called Techno, which is designed to go and reach entrepreneurs from anywhere in the state that have a product or an innovation that they would like to get feedback on. We bring together all the tech expertise of the counselors from each of the centers in a master class, for lack of another word, sit on a panel and have entrepreneurs come and talk about this innovation they have, this ideation of a product or a concept, and get feedback from it very early on so that they can then have a pathway toward how to develop it, who to work with, what kind of product. This is a good idea, doesn't need a little more support. And so we started this. It was terrific feedback from the various entrepreneurs around the state who didn't have access to that type of product development feedback before, and we are continuing that in 2022. So we are excited about where the state is and what SBDC is doing for really helping to drive tech entrepreneurship in Missouri. And thank you. And I too will be happy to take questions at the end. And with that, I will turn it back over to Sherry.
Thank you very much, Jill. The efforts of you and the tech counselors across the state in expanding the awareness of our tech expertise in the Missouri SBDC has been phenomenal over the years. And just so excited that the work that you and your team are doing, as well as Traven and Leslie, to help share all that we're doing and share that the Missouri SBDC does go beyond business basics. So thank you all for your updates and presentations today. Now, I would like to hand it back over to Greg Tucker.
Okay, thanks, Sherry and Jill and Traven and Leslie. I appreciate it all. Before we get into our economic impact, I'd like to go back and introduce a friend of our program and a strong advocate of our program, SBA District Director in St. Louis, Maureen Brinkley, who has also served as the acting SBA Regional Administrator. And I think Maureen has an introduction and probably a couple of comments she would like to make. Maureen?
I do. Thank you, Greg. First of all, happy SBDC Day. I can't tell you guys how many times I've had the pleasure of saying that. Yes, I am so happy to pass on the torch to a new regional administrator. First of all, the reason you're not seeing a lot of SBA people right here, all of a sudden at like 10:58, our computers, something happened. So everybody throughout SBA is having problems. So Ram has had to call in, and so is my deputy, Tom Yoakum. I cannot tell if our new regional administrator is on. I sent him a couple of emails, so he may not be. If he is, I will ask him to unmute as well, but his name is Vercie, Bercie Locke. He was appointed by President Biden like 3 weeks ago. So he's actually been on board 2 weeks. So I've had the pleasure of training him my way, Maureen's way. So no, I saw that smile there, but no, seriously, I think he's going to be great. But since he's not on, I won't take up a long time. I do want to say, as I have every year, working with SBDC has been a pleasure throughout my career. Believe it or not, September 5th, I will celebrate 55 years with the SBA. 55 years, isn't hard to believe. So if I had my camera on, you guys would say, she don't even look 55 years old. But so you're off the hook since I don't have my camera on. But believe it or not, I remember when the SBDC came on board. It had been started way back when, but it was in the late 70s that SBA made the decision that we needed higher education to help us through our counseling. And the Missouri, the state SBDC was one of the first. It was like 1979 or 1980. See, that's why they keep me around, because I got a good memory, that we actually entered into a contract to have a Missouri State SBDC. So I've had the pleasure of working with Mac Summers, and then of course, Greg Tucker and I, who I can't say enough about Greg and the St. Louis team. We're joined at the hip. And I'm not just saying this because I'm on the line. You've heard me say repeatedly that you are the best resource that we have nationally. I say that on behalf of the agency. You're always there to help and step up to the plate. So since Bercy has not come on, I guess he's still having problems. So again, thank you for all you do. And we're always here to help. I'll speak on behalf of Ram and District Director Michael Barrero over in Kansas City. Just let us know we're joined at the hip. And we will be bringing the new administrator over to meet with you, Greg, and your team, hopefully within the next month or so. So again, thanks for giving me these few minutes, everybody.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, Maureen. And we appreciate you as always and look forward to working and meeting with and working with Versi. And Maureen, there are several phone numbers on here. I see some DC phone numbers, but I don't know that any of those are Versi. So we'll move on and look forward to meeting with him at a later time. All right, thanks again, Maureen. So I'd like to talk a little bit now about the past and a little bit about the future. So normally I don't like to read information that's on a slide, but on this slide, I'm going to make an exception because these are our accomplishments toward our goals that the Small Business Administration gives us each year. So each year with our funding, the Small Business Administration gives us a set of goals with targeted numbers on those goals. So those goals we always call our rent. That's what we have to pay, and that's what we have to accomplish with our foundational centers that we don't talk a lot about on this presentation, but again, are the rock and the foundation of what we do. Those are those 12 centers you saw across on the map across the state. So those 12 centers during 2021, ending with fiscal year October 1. So we are on the federal fiscal year for our results. Our organization helped 295 businesses start. We helped businesses achieve 135 million in capitalization. We served 5,833 unique Missourians across the state, and we supported 32,439 jobs. Now, one of the things that makes SBDC and data unique, and in my view, of course, a little biased, more valuable, is that to collect this impact, our clients have to give us a letter or an email in writing that says, the SBDC helped me accomplish this. So these aren't just numbers that we report. These are numbers that our clients give us that we are then allowed to report. It's a part of our overall accreditation process. And right now, about a third of our clients, or 33% of our clients, report some kind of impact data annually. So we know we have to do a better job at collecting that impact. I think we do a pretty good job at generating the impact, but it's very, very important that we collect that impact so that then we can report it to our partners, collaborators, and stakeholders. Okay, so let's take a little broader look now over the past 3 years, 2019 through 2021. The Missouri SBDC has helped 808 businesses start, 414 million in capitalization, 239 million in increased sales, which translates directly into jobs and business growth, and 46,242 jobs supported. So again, this data is directly attributed to Missouri SBDC assistance. Okay. So moving on now, I'd like to talk about a very, very important initiative that we began about a year ago. Now, that's when we began. All of the contracts and the papers were signed about 6 months ago. But one of the key items with our workforce we found in Missouri especially is a lack of childcare opportunities across the state. Typically, the SBDC focuses on for-profit businesses and what we would consider our traditional businesses. But years ago, our St. Louis team was involved in a project that realized to enable people to go to work, to enable people to go to a place of work, they need childcare. There are 17 classified childcare deserts in Missouri. These are places that have no options for childcare for that local workforce. So we entered into a partnership with the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education to help build the childcare capacity across the state. Department of DESE, as I'll call it, provides the funding through CARES Act funding that provides grants for expansion and payroll for some of these childcare providers. And then we come in with technical assistance to help them set up the systems and what I call the back office processes they need to better manage and grow their childcare. So we provide one-on-one counseling with those assistants. And since August, we've assisted 473 childcare providers. That's obviously a very dynamic number, growing by the day. We're now looking at a second round of tools and deliverables that we're working with DESE on in the future. So just to let you know, we do get involved in some initiatives like this that might be, sometimes outside of our realm of expertise, but we do have several of us within the SBDC that have owned daycares or childcare centers and have worked with them for years, even a couple of decades. So this is something that's really impactful we've been involved in, and most of the people on this call, as well as our team across the state, are touched by this program. Okay, so let's look a little bit now at the future. What brings 2022 and beyond? So the pandemic, it's sometimes difficult to say, but I like to say the pandemic made us a better, more efficient, more effective organization by putting us under pressure. So we need to continue to deepen those relationships that we forged through the pandemic. We had to expand our services through a lot of partnerships across the state. So we want to continue to deepen and forge those relationships. We want to continue to serve our clients both through a face-to-face and virtual methods to meet their needs, and again, to keep us a more efficient operation. As we look at face-to-face meetings, those are kind of impacted as gasoline to help us travel there moves to $4.50 a gallon. So again, we have to serve our clients in the most official economic way to better leverage our funding. We need to identify additional funding opportunities that align with our objectives that expand our services throughout the state. So if you'll go back to the slide where Sherry talked about our mission, vision, values, we need to make sure that we're not just chasing money, but that we're looking for funding opportunities that fit within our scope, within our values, within our mission. One of the services we didn't talk about today in our specialized services is a fourth specialized service, and that is the agricultural business sector. We're working to reimagine and redesign that agricultural business sector. We've tried a couple of different approaches that weren't optimal for us, so we're still reimagining those services as well, which is our fourth specialized services. Next is something I touched on earlier, and it's something we're all, and I'm sure those of you on this webinar and those of you listening and who will listen later, we're trying to learn and leverage the evolving workforce needs and habits. So, we always talk about, what is normal? What is normal today? And as we know, our workforce has changed dramatically. We hear a lot of people saying, I can't get people to come to work. I can't get, this, I can't get that. Yet we'll have employees, primarily our younger employees, our Gen Zs and our millennials, who will be responding to work emails at 2 o'clock in the morning. So they may not be at the water cooler, for lack of a better term, at 8 o'clock in the morning, but they are working during the night. They are working as their life permits. So we need to learn to work with and better leverage that evolving workforce. And then finally is a crucial element that we don't have the expertise for right now, but we found many partners across the state, and we're creating awareness of it. And this has been exacerbated too by the recent events in the Ukraine, and that is cybersecurity. Cybersecurity, you're going to hear an announcement pretty soon from the Small Business Administration, the federal government, about the importance of cybersecurity with our small businesses across the country. So these are some of the things that are on our radar going forward, and some of the items that we could use everyone's help and assistance in developing, and as we continue to evolve through, I'm always hesitant to say, as we come out of the pandemic. So as we come out of whatever we call last month, we want to make sure that we're looking at this new evolution and better leveraging our services. Okay, and with that, I would like to turn it back over to Sherry.
Thank you very much, Greg. Now I have the joy of telling everyone and inviting everyone to participate in SBDC Day with us. As Greg mentioned at the top of the presentation, Today is SBDC Day. It is celebrated on the third Wednesday in March, and this is our 6th year celebrating SBDC Day. And this is a time for all SBDCs across the nation and in our U.S. territories to essentially toot our own horn. Going back to that mission, vision, values slide, a couple of our values are confidentiality and integrity. And that speaks directly to the work that we do one-on-one with clients. For when folks become a client of our SBDC, they sign up and have an understanding that those conversations are kept confidential. That is one of the opportunities for us to really get down deep into some of the either obstacles, challenges, or even great opportunities for businesses is to that they have that trust in us, that the information that they share will be kept confidential. And what that means is that we're not every day going out there talking about the new business startup or the amazing expansion that's happening, because we do that in a bit of a different way. We do that through very intentional acts where we are asking permission from that business owner to do a story on them or capture a quote from them about our services and what they have, how they've been able to take advantage of those services. And so SBDC Day is one of those days where we look to kind of gather up and clients that are participating and our partners and our center sponsors and hosts that want to participate. It's that day that we always invite folks to share with us the great things that are going on, but this is kind of like that one day where we take a pause and we just celebrate a whole bunch about all of the amazing things, and it's the amazing things that our team is accomplishing, because it's our team across the state that is meeting one-on-one with those business owners and holding those trainings that make the Missouri SBDC what it is. And so join us on social media. We are pretty busy on Twitter today, but you can also follow the conversation on all social media channels utilizing the hashtag SBDCDay. I do want to take a moment to thank some of our national SBDC Day sponsors that are here in Missouri. And the first is University of Missouri Extension. They are our lead center or our Missouri SBDC program host at the University of Missouri. And they have been hosting our program for many, many years. And we really appreciate their support, not only here in the state, but also being a national ambassador. They are one of a handful of extension programs that host an SBDC. So it's pretty unique. A couple other national SBDC Day ambassadors here in Missouri are the Missouri Center for Employee Ownership and the Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce. So we really appreciate their support, not only today, but these folks have been supportive of us for a very long time. So thank you to our ambassadors that are here in Missouri. We also want to give a quick thank you to Governor Mike Parson, who signed a proclamation proclaiming today as National Small Business Development Center Day here in Missouri. So again, join us on Twitter or any of the other social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn as well. But with that, I'm going to move on to another fun and exciting item, and that is joining our own state director, Greg Tucker, and our National Association CEO and President T. Rowe. Tomorrow night, they will be on the Small Business Conversations podcast by Profit Plus Solutions with host Thomas Shea. That will be tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Central. 8 p.m. Eastern. And at the end of our presentation today, as a follow-up email this afternoon, you'll receive the slide deck, which does provide the URL to where you can join that podcast. So just wanted to give that quick little plug. And as we're wrapping up here, wanted to let everyone know the reports and resources that we have referred to throughout the presentation will be available and are available for you online. Again, you will get the slide deck, so you will be able to access our specific Missouri SBDC annual report. You can also access the America's SBDC annual report, which takes a look at some of our impact and things at a little different manner. And then some of the other items from our specialized services that were talked about earlier. So with that, I do want to make sure that everyone here knows that you can reach out to Greg and myself if you would like to have any follow-up conversations regarding small business or various opportunities to work with the Missouri SBDC. We welcome those conversations and look forward to those with you. We want to thank you for attending. Do need to get that slide there. And with that, I don't see any questions in the chat. So I do welcome, if anyone wants to place a question in the chat, you're welcome to direct those towards anyone here that spoke, and we're happy to answer those. Otherwise, we thank you so much for attending today. We thank you for your support of the Missouri SBDC and for small businesses across our state. And Greg, I will leave it to you with any other closing remarks.
Okay, again, I'd like to thank everyone that made this presentation possible, those who attended, those who will listen later, and you know, to remind everyone what a pleasure it is to work with such a great team of people and to serve amazing small businesses across the state of Missouri. And I want to thank you all for making it possible for us to do a job like this and to report these types of results. It's an honor and a pleasure, and thank you, everyone. Still don't see any questions. All right, everyone have a great day and stay safe. Take care.